There was a company born in the shadows of war, 4 centuries old, worth more than every tech giant you know, combined. When people talk about old money, they think Rothschilds, Rockefellers, names carved into history by blood and gold. But there's another name, quieter, older, more dangerous. A family that didn't just build wealth, they invented the system that creates it. This is the story of how a single bloodline turned merchants into monarchs, riots into empires, and debt into dominion, and how their fingerprints are still all over the money in your pocket. Before we begin, drop a comment. Tell me where you're watching from and what time it is. I want to see how far across the world this story has already reached. Now, let's go back. It's 1580. The Iberian Peninsula is burning with ambition. Spain absorbs Portugal in a royal merger that sends shockwaves across every ocean. 2 empires, 1 crown. Suddenly, Spain controls half the known world, Africa, Asia, the Americas, and in the Low Countries, a small rebellious region watches in horror. The Dutch are trapped, technically subjects of Spain, practically at war with it, and now their enemy has doubled in size overnight. They can't win with swords, so they build something else, a weapon made of paper, ships, and greed. In 1602, 7 rival Dutch trading firms do the unthinkable. They merge, not for peace, for power. They form the Verenigde Oostindische Compagnie, the VOC, the Dutch East India Company. On paper, it's just another merchant fleet. But beneath the surface, it's a war machine disguised as a business. The VOC doesn't just trade, it conquers, it signs treaties, it raises armies, it governs cities. And here's the innovation that changes everything. For the first time in history, ordinary people can buy shares. Not nobles, not kings, bakers, tailors, clerks. Anyone with a few guilders can own a piece of the empire. This isn't just commerce. This is the democratization of conquest. And behind it all, watching carefully, is a family with no throne, but all the ambition in the world. They call themselves the House of Orange-Nassau. Old blood, noble titles, but no kingdom. In the new Dutch Republic, merchants run the show. The Orange family is squeezed from every side. Amsterdam's elites want them gone. Spain wants them dead. And they have no land, no mines, no divine right to fall back on. So they do something radical. They stop trying to rule through bloodlines and start ruling through capital. They don't own the VOC, but they fund it, shield it, legitimize it. And decades later, when their descendants become company presidents, the line between merchant and monarch disappears entirely. This is the moment, the fusion of dynasty and corporation, of state and stock. The Orange family doesn't need a crown anymore. They have something better: dividends. By the mid-1600s, the VOC is unstoppable. It controls trade routes from the Persian Gulf to Japan. It has 150 ships, 50,000 employees, a private army of 10,000 soldiers. Its market cap? Over $7.9 trillion in today's money. For context, that's more than Apple and Microsoft combined. Twice the value of Nvidia at its peak. And it's not even a country, but it behaves like one. In 1619, the VOC captures Jakarta, renames it Batavia, turns it into the command center of Asian trade for 300 years. Governors rule from there. Kingdoms bend to its will. The Dutch flag flies, but it's a company flag. This is what happens when profit has a military. And feeding this machine are over 1 million Dutch citizens who board ships, cross oceans, and risk their lives, not for God or country, but for a paycheck. They're not explorers, they're employees, the world's first corporate workforce. But scale requires fuel, and fuel requires trust. So the VOC does something no one has ever done before. In August 1602, they opened their books to the public, the world's first IPO. Within months, capital floods in, shares trade hands, prices rise, and something new is born. The Amsterdam Stock Exchange, the first secondary market in history. And with it comes speculation, futures, options, hedging. Every tool Wall Street uses today was invented in a Dutch coffee house 400 years ago. But the real breakthrough? Limited liability. If a ship sinks, you only lose what you invested. Your house stays yours. Your family stays safe. Suddenly, risk becomes tolerable, and investment becomes irresistible. Share prices explode from an index of 100 in 1602 to over 1,000 by the 1720s. A tenfold return. This is history's first FOMO bubble, and everyone wants in. Like this video if you're starting to see how deep this goes, and subscribe. Now, let's talk about how this system crossed the ocean. 1688. England is in crisis. King James II has lost the trust of Parliament. The country is on the edge of collapse. Enter William of Orange. He's married to James's daughter Mary. He's Protestant. He's connected. And most importantly, he's Dutch. When he sails to England with an army, he doesn't just bring troops, he brings a blueprint. The Glorious Revolution isn't just political, it's financial. Within years, England launches the Bank of England, issues public bonds, funds wars through capital markets. These are Dutch inventions, now written into British law. William doesn't conquer England, he upgrades it, and the ripple effects reach across the Atlantic. Decades earlier, Dutch ships had already arrived in North America. In 1609, the ship Half Moon reaches a harbor we now call New York City. By 1624, the Dutch West India Company founds New Amsterdam on the southern tip of Manhattan. It's not just a trading post, it's a prototype. Organized streets, legal contracts, diverse merchants, credit systems that link a tiny settlement to global trade. In 1664, the British take over, rename it New York. But they don't erase the Dutch foundation, they build on it. The legal structures, the financial customs, the commercial habits, they work, so they stay. And over time, those Dutch roots grow into something bigger. New York inherits the tools that once made Amsterdam the financial capital of the world, and eventually it surpasses it. But even giants fall. By the late 1700s, the VOC is crumbling. Corruption spreads, leadership stalls, rivals, Britain, France, close in. The monopoly that once seemed invincible becomes a burden. The world is changing. Markets demand flexibility. The VOC offers control. In 1795, the Dutch government steps in, nationalizes the company. By 1796, it's over. Nearly 2 centuries of dominance, gone. But the structure doesn't disappear, it transforms. The VOC dies, but its DNA lives on. Today, the Netherlands is a financial empire. No colonies, no fleets, but over $5 trillion in foreign investments. More capital flowing out of a country smaller than California than from most nations combined. And at the center of it all, the House of Orange-Nassau. Still reigning, still connected. They hold stakes in Shell, influence boards, shape policy through trusts and networks most people will never see. Royal Dutch Shell, ING Group, Philips, these aren't just companies. They're extensions of a system built 400 years ago. The crown is ceremonial now, but the capital? That's still very real. But let's not romanticize this. The VOC didn't just innovate, it brutalized. The Banda Islands, nearly exterminated. Thousands killed. Survivors enslaved. The Amboina Massacre. English and Japanese traders executed on false charges. The Batavia Massacre. Thousands of Chinese civilians slaughtered in Jakarta. Forced labor, resource extraction, cultural erasure. The VOC pioneered modern finance, but it also pioneered modern exploitation. Both are true. Both matter. So here's what we're left with. The Rothschilds didn't invent capitalism. The Rockefellers didn't either. The House of Orange did. They fused war, trade, and finance into a single system. And that system now governs the world. Markets hold the power once reserved for kings. So the question is, if the crown is invisible, who's wearing it? If you made it this far, drop an orange emoji in the comments. And if you want more stories like this, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.